Hello kids! Welcome to this segment of Tina's Terminology. On this episode, we're going to learn two new vocabulary words. Our first word is pioneer. Pioneer is a word that can be used as a noun or a verb. And as you know, a noun is a person, place, or thing, and a verb is an action word. The definition of pioneer as a noun is a person who is among the first to explore a new place, new areas of thought, or activity. For example, the pioneers of Polk County were the first people to develop our agricultural industry, which still thrives today.
Hey guys, it's me, Sky. I'm here at the Polk County History Center in Bartow to learn about one of the many cool people from Polk County that have made an impact in our country. Come inside with me to check it out. I'm here in the 1908 courtroom with Jamie. She's the educational curator here at the History Center, and she's going to teach us about Spessard Holland and how he came from Bartow and grew up to make a big difference in our country. So Jamie, the United States of America is getting ready to inaugurate the 48th person to hold the office of president. Is it true that Polk County is named after a president?
Yes, that's absolutely true. When you look at Florida's history, Florida originally became a territory in 1821. It was through a treaty with Spain 195 years ago that we got our start. Then the U.S. became a state in 1845, and eventually Polk County became a county in 1861. And when the Florida legislature decided that Polk County was going to be a county, it was suggested that it should be named after James K. Polk. He was the 11th president of the United States in 1845 when Florida became a state.
So who was Spessard Holland?
Spessard Holland was born in Bartow. In fact, if you ever go to downtown Bartow, you can see his childhood home. And he was the son of a man who was a farmer, and his mom was a teacher. And he grew up here until he went off to college. He actually graduated from the Summerlin Institute, which is now Bartow High School. Went to college, he served in World War I. He actually was awarded a very special honor in World War I, the Distinguished Service Cross, for what he did. He came back and he studied law, and he opened up a law firm before eventually becoming an attorney and a judge working in this courtroom. After that, someone said, you know, you should really be a senator. And he did, and then he was really good at that, so they said, you should be governor of the state of Florida. And he was governor during World War II. And then he went on to serve the rest of his political career from 1946 to the 1960s as a United States Senator.
So Spessard Holland was the governor, but what exactly does a governor do?
When you think about a governor, he's not quite, or she is not quite the president of the United States, but they have a lot of the same tasks. So the president makes sure that all the laws are being followed and changes that are made in the United States are made in the best interest of the people. Well, the governor does that, but just for their individual state. So there are 50 governors, one for each state, and they really make sure that everybody in the state gets what they need and ensures that the laws that the state legislature passed are dutifully enforced.
So how did Spessard Holland change the Constitution, and why did he want to do that?
So Spessard Holland, when we talk about the three men that were governor of Florida, Spessard Holland is a really cool story because he went on to do something that only 27 other people have done, and that was to make a change to the U.S. Constitution. And like I said, when he was growing up, his dad was a farmer, and so he understood a lot of what needs or concerns farmers had. And one of the things that he noticed early on is that Florida had a practice of charging people to vote. So like if you wanted to go vote, you had to pay, a couple dollars, maybe equivalent to $20 today. And he thought that was really unfair because what he noticed were farmers, small town farmers like we have in Polk County, were not being able to pay that tax. And so what ended up happening is it looked like only people that had extra money were eligible to vote, and he didn't think that was fair.
What is the process for someone to have a change made to the Constitution?
So in order to change the Constitution, you have someone with an idea. and they take that idea to their member of Congress, whether it's someone in the House of Representatives or a senator like Spessard Holland was, and they say, I have an idea, and the senator says, I think that's a good idea. And unfortunately, he needs to convince 3/4 or the majority, supermajority of his friends in the Senate and the House to agree with him. And when Spessard Holland originally took that idea to the Senate, not everybody agreed with him that it was a good idea. So he waited and he waited, and for almost 16 years they kept proposing this idea, we should change the Constitution so no one has to pay to vote. Finally, in 1962, with the support of the president at the time, John F. Kennedy, the idea was brought in front of Congress and it was approved. And a lot of people think that's where it ends. But in fact, in order to make a change to the United States Constitution, the states all have to agree, at least 3/4 of them as well. So from 1962 to 1964, the states voted on whether they thought that was a good amendment. And the first state to agree was Illinois, and the 38th state, which made 3/4, was South Dakota. And as a result, in August of 1964, the idea officially became a constitutional amendment. It's the 24th Amendment to the Constitution, which is absolutely exciting for us, to talk about being Polk Countyans. Only 27 other people have had a hand in changing the Constitution, and one of them was a boy that grew up in Bartow.
Wow! So he really did change our country.
He did, as well as the other men. When you come to the History Center, you can look at some ways in which not only Spessard Holland has changed our country and our county, but also Park Trammell, Lawton Childs, and all of the judges that have served in the courtrooms, Jacob Summerlin. There's so much to see. And when you do come, you can find out a little bit more about Spessard Holland by looking at some of his artifacts. When a governor becomes governor of the state, he goes through an inauguration, just like the president does. And we have on display here the top hat that Spessard Holland wore on that day, as well as some cool footage of he and his family in Tallahassee on that day. So come check it out.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much for teaching me about a little bit of our history here in Polk County. It shows that we can all achieve our goals, no matter how big. I'm going to go explore the other exhibits here at the History Center and see what else I can learn. See you guys next time!
Hey everybody, I'm Ariana and I'm here at Exploration's 5 Children's Museum for this segment of Senses Overdrive. This is Sue. She's going to be helping us with our activity today. So Sue, what are we doing?
We're going to do some color magic today. Okay. We're going to use some Skittles. Now you can actually use Skittles or M&Ms as long as you have a candy that's in different bright colors and it has some sort of a letter on top, because we're not only going to melt the colors, but we're going to lift the letters right off of there. Okay, so I want you to take these Skittles and I want you to move them, put them in this pan, kind of spread them out so that there's one, with spaces in between. There you go. Doesn't matter what color order they're in, unless you're really picky and you want your rainbow to be
perfect
in perfect color. Yes. So what I have here is some warm water. So I want you to pour it in the middle very slowly, but enough so that you cover all of the candy.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to watch what happens. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. A little farther. We want to cover up those S's in order to make them melt right off.
Okay.
Now this will work with cold water or warm water. There you go.
Starting
we're
to
going to
see
use
the
warm
water.
because they start to dissolve in here. The candy coating is what's going to dissolve first.
Oh, it's pretty.
And because of, actually, you know what? We're going to take our hands off the table because when we jiggle, it messes it up. But as they melt then, the colors are starting to spread out. Okay. But because each color has a different density, each color is made of different components, they won't mix together. They're just going to be like standing next to each other like this.
But that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Isn't that pretty? But watch the S's also, or if you had an M&M, you'd want to watch the M because that little letter on there is separate. It's not candy coating like the rest of it, it's separate. So the Skittles, if we watch the ones I did earlier, actually, the S's just kind of slid off the side as they went. So keep an eye on the S's with the different colors. The yellow is hard to see, but oh, here goes one right there. See it? It's sliding right off. So just imagine as it slid down your throat, it would just slide right off. But see how the colors are right here?
The purple is really pretty.
It is, but there's definite lines between each one. So you can amaze your friends by making a rainbow if you want to give up your choice of eating your Skittles and M&Ms or doing some science and art with them.
Well, I like this way a lot better.
And notice even in the center, it's clear in the center. And like I said, it will work with either cold water or hot water, but the hot water makes it work a whole lot faster. Okay? All right.
Well, that was so much fun. And if you really want to put your senses into overdrive, come here in downtown Lakeland to Exploration's 5 Children's Museum. I'm Mariana. See you again soon.
Our first word of the day was pioneer. Now let's move on to the second word, advocate. The definition of advocate is a person who publicly supports or works towards a particular cause. For example, Susan B. Anthony was a famous advocate of equal rights for women. Stay tuned for another example of the word advocate.
Hey guys, let's talk about lines for a minute. So you all know what a line is, right? It's this thing right here. Well, technically in math terms, what you're looking at is called a line segment. And we call it this because it has a starting point and a stopping point. This particular line starts right here and ends right here. Now, if this line started right here but kept on going forever and ever, we would call that a ray. So you ask yourself, if a line that has 2 stopping points is a line segment, and a line that has only 1 stopping point is a ray, then what would you call a line that goes on forever and has no starting point and no stopping point? Well, I'm glad you asked. We call that a line. So we have a line segment, which is the most common. We have a ray, and we have a line. Okay. So now that we have that little nugget of knowledge tucked into our brain folds, we can move on to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. In the simplest terms, parallel lines are 2 lines that will never ever touch each other, no matter how long the lines extend. So they will always keep the same distance between them. Perpendicular lines are 2 lines that intersect each other at a right angle or at 90 degrees. Now, when we look at the line diagram like this one, we can see a few things that help us determine which lines are parallel to each other and which lines are perpendicular. Remember how I said that perpendicular lines intersect at right angles? Well, this little half square symbol right here is the symbol that means the angle of these 2 lines is 90 degrees. So what we have is this line here, AB, intersects this line right here, WX, at 90 degrees. So that makes these 2 lines perpendicular. And if you go down here, you'll see that this line, CD, intersects that same line, WX, at 90 degrees also. So when we write this, we'll say line AB, and we'll draw this little line above it with arrows on it, and that symbol means that it's a line, so we know we're talking about a line there. And it is perpendicular, and what we'll do to say perpendicular is we'll draw this little upside down T. That means perpendicular. And it's perpendicular to line WX, so we'll put our little line symbol right there again. So AB is perpendicular to WX, and CD is also perpendicular to line WX. All right. Are you ready for the interesting part? When you have 2 lines that intersect the same third line, and they all have the same angles, just like we have right here, we can conclude that these 2 lines, AB and CD, are parallel. No matter how long they extend, these lines will never ever touch. So line AB with our little line symbol above it is parallel, and what we'll do to symbolize parallel is we'll make these 2 little dash marks like lowercase l's, and that means parallel to line CD, and we'll put our little line symbol there. Okay, so here are a few diagrams to take a look at and practice on. Can you find which lines are parallel and which lines are perpendicular to each other?
Hey kids, it's me, Dion, and you're watching Power Up. Today, we're doing lots of different exercises, so I want you to follow along with me, okay? Make sure you grab a ball, because we're gonna be using one of these today. Are you ready? Yeah? All right. Let's get started with some jumping jacks. Give it all you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're gonna do 10 more. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now that we're all nice and warmed up, we're gonna cool ourselves off with some windmills. Stand with your feet hip width apart and do these windmills with me as fast as you can. Okay, now let me get that ball. Got it. Let's do some twists with the ball. Go side to side with me and twist your ball back and forth. We're gonna do this 15 times. This is 3, 4, 5, 6 times. This is 7 times. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're almost there. 13, 14, and 15. That is harder than it looks. Now we're gonna lift the ball all the way above our head and then squat to bring it down all the way to our toes. Let's go, let's do 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you're squatted nice and low. Get your legs moving. This is 7, 8, 9, and this is 10. Now we're gonna get down on the floor and do some floor exercises. This first exercise is called the struggling starfish. You're gonna be the starfish. Lay on your side like this, and you can put your arm behind you to stabilize yourself. Put your arm up in the air, and put this leg back. Every time your arm comes down, your leg comes forward. It's kind of difficult to do, take some balance, so it might take some practice to get the hang of it. Let's do 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost there. 9, and that's 10. Now let's do it on the other side. Get on this side, put your arm up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we have one more workout on the floor here. We're gonna lay back on your back, and you're gonna do toe touches. You're gonna do your right arm to your left leg, and vice versa. Starting now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. And now we're gonna do some pretty basic exercises. You know how to do them. We're gonna get back on the floor and we're gonna do some push-ups to start. We're gonna do 10 of these. Get your hands like this and try to keep your butt down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if those were too hard for you, you can do a modified. Keep your knees on the floor, and let's do 10 more, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 10. And that's it. You guys can get up, shake it out, you're done. We'll see you next time on Power Up.
Today you have learned 2 new words which I hope that you begin to use every day. Pioneers are explorers who are the first people to develop new places or ideas. Advocates are people who work to support a particular cause. Here is an example of both of the words together in one sentence. James K. Polk, our county's namesake and the 11th President of the United States, was a big pioneer and advocate for the expansion of America. During his presidency, he acquired the lands of Oregon, California, and New Mexico.
Hey guys, welcome back. Are you ready to make something with me? I'm Bo, and today we're going to go fishing for our snack. We're making fish in a river. We're going to need 4 celery sticks, washed and clean, cream cheese, and goldfish crackers. We're going to start with the celery first. With the sharp knife, remember our knife safety, guys. Cut off both ends and any extra brown spots you might have missed. Then, after all of the cutting, wash it under some warm water and put it on the plate. You're all finished. Make sure the dip in the celery is face up because we're going to be putting our cream cheese in there. You don't need a lot of cream cheese for your celery, so let's start scooping our cream cheese into it. Now it's time to spread our cream cheese on our celery. It'll be easier to use a knife to spread the cream cheese, so let's take the knife and start putting it on the celery. We want to put it where there's a long channel. The cream cheese will be our river, and the sides of the celery will be like the grass that grows along a river. Once you've filled the river with cream cheese, go ahead and put your knife to the side. Now here comes the fun part. Let's take our goldfish that we have here, and we're going to start putting it on our cream cheese. It's looking more like fish in a river, right? Maybe we can do that sometime for a party with our friends. So now it's time to take a bite. Wow, that tastes amazing. I'm going to have to make this again. That's all the time we have for today. Tune in again to see what simple snack we'll make next.
Hola amigos, hablemos español con Mima.
Sí, hablemos español. Es divertido.
Yes, Spanish is fun.
Muy bien, pues vamos a hablar.
Mima, haznos un cuento.
¿Un cuento? ¿Quieren un cuento?
Yes, tell us a story.
Les voy a hacer un cuento, pero pongan atención porque voy a hacer preguntas.
Yes, you better pay attention. She's gonna ask questions. Mima, can I say it in English?
¿Es una buena idea? Sí, Carly, tú lo dices en inglés. ¿Bien? Muy bien. Había una vez 3 amigos. 1, 2, 3.
Once upon a time, there was 3 friends.
Sí, Carly, 3 amigos. Y se llamaban Antonio, Juliana y Carly.
Somos nosotros.
It's us.
Sí, Carly, son ustedes. Antonio, Juliana y Carly. Se llamaban Antonio, Juliana y Carly. Antonio vivía en una casa grande y muy bonita. Juliana vivía en un charco con muchas flores. Y Carly vivía en un árbol de fruta.
Antonio lived in a big, beautiful house. Juliana lived in a pond with a lot of flowers. I lived in a fruit tree.
Muy bien, Carly, muy bien. Antonio vivía en una casa cerca del bosque.
Antonio lived in a house near the forest.
Muy bien. Entonces, ahora la pregunta.
Now the question.
¿Dónde vivía Juliana? ¿Antonio?
Juliana vive en un charco.
Sí, Juliana vivía en un charco.
Yes, Juliana lived in a pond.
Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Y dónde vivía Carly?
Where did Carly live?
Carly vivía
en un árbol de fruta.
Muy bien, en un árbol de fruta. ¿Y dónde vivía Antonio?
Yo vivía en una casa grande, bonita. cerca del bosque.
Cerca del bosque. Sí.
Antonio lived in a big, beautiful house near the forest.
Muy bien. Entonces Antonio vivía cerca del bosque, Juliana vivía en un charco y Carly vivía en un árbol de fruta. Antonio le gustaba jugar y correr por el campo.
Antonio loved to play and run through the fields.
A Juliana le gustaba saltar, y jugar con las flores, saltar de flor en flor.
Juliana liked to jump. She liked to jump from flower to flower.
Muy bien, Carly, muy bien. Y a Carly le gustaba volar y volar.
I like to fly.
Muy bien, ahora pregunta, ¿qué le gustaba hacer a Antonio?
Antonio le gusta jugar y correr.
Muy bien, correcto, jugar y correr. ¿Qué le gusta hacer a Juliana? Antonio.
Juliana le gusta saltar de la flor en flor.
She likes to jump from flower to flower.
¿Y qué le gusta hacer a Carly?
A mí me gusta volar.
Muy bien. Un día, los tres amigos decidieron ir a jugar al campo. Pero la mamá le dijo, no vayan al bosque, porque en el bosque está el lobo feroz.
One day, the three friends decided to go play in the fields. But the mother said, don't go to the forest. The big bad wolf is there.
El lobo feroz está ahí y siempre tiene mucha hambre.
Oh, he's always hungry.
Oh, qué miedo. I'm scared.
Entonces, Antonio corrió y corrió. Juliana estaba salta y salta de flor en flor.
Antonio ran, and Juliana, she jumped from flower to flower.
Y Carly voló y voló hasta cerca del bosque.
I flew near the forest?
Sí, cerca del bosque. Y estaban jugando. Oh, muy divertido.
We were playing, having fun.
Y de pronto hay una voz.
And suddenly, there is a voice.
Hola, amigos. Yo soy el lobo feroz.
Oh no, es el lobo feroz.
It's the big bad wolf.
Qué miedo. Tengo miedo. How scary. I'm scared.
Sí, yo quiero jugar con ustedes.
He wants to play with us. Oh no, run.
Los amigos corrieron a casa de Antonio. ¡Qué susto! They're so afraid. Y adivinen quién está en la casa.
Guess who's at the house?
Mi mamá.
Sí, tu mamá. ¿Y qué dijo tu mamá?
What did your mother say?
Mi mamá dijo, no vayan al bosque.
Don't go to the forest.
¿Por qué?
Porque cada día el lobo feroz siempre tiene mucho hambre. Pero ahora estamos en mi casa. En mi casa está mi mamá. Y el lobo feroz tiene miedo de mi mamá.
Yeah, Antonio's mom is tough. The big bad wolf is afraid of Antonio's mom.
Sí, pero recuerden, siempre pongan atención a lo que dice su mamá.
Yeah, we should pay attention to what Mama says.
Muy bien. Eso es todo por hoy.
That's right. That's all for today.
Carly, gracias. Eres un buen traductor. Y ustedes, recuerden, hablar español es divertido.
Speaking Spanish is fun.